There's a special kind of prison we build for ourselves, not with walls of concrete, but with walls of expectation. I spent decades inside this very prison, not because I was shy, not because I lacked confidence, but because I became masterful at playing by the rules. You know, the unwritten rules of how to succeed, how to be taken seriously, how to climb the corporate ladder, how to meet expectations, how to check all the boxes, avoid rocking the boat, present ideas in an acceptable format, speak the language of those in power. You don't want to ruffle any feathers. Keep your wildest thoughts to yourselves. You don't want to scare anyone and jeopardize your job or your life. I didn't just follow these rules. I excelled at them. I built a successful career on them. I crafted a life that looked impressive from the outside, doing these very things. All the while, a quiet voice inside me whispered, "Is this all there is?" The most shocking part, I wasn't miserable. In fact, most of the time I was comfortable. I was successful enough. I was respected enough. But living at half capacity, or even 3/4 capacity, offering the world a filtered version of myself that I thought I wanted, well, was that living? And the thing is, this filtering that happens by society and our external circumstances, well, it happens so gradually that we barely even notice it. Though, what would it look like for you today to decide that more is better and having your authentic voice be expressed to the world through avenues that feel resonant to you? Well, that's a good thing. That your job or your social standing or your current situation doesn't have to filter these unique and exciting and authentic ideas you have inside that maybe you want to express on social media, or you want to turn into a new business, or you at least want to turn it into a hobby or a side venture. You want to feel free to explore these ideas, and you're tired of society and the corporate structure and all of the things we live in on a day-to-day basis. You're tired of them filtering that voice. Well, that is possible. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video. You see, I've worked with thousands of professionals, so I've gotten a chance to see firsthand the types of people that show up, archetypes, if you will, or personas that people fall into. And I want to tell you the 4 most prominent ones, because you may fall in one or more of these, and they shine a light on what happens when we let this filtering happen. Let's start with the corporate conformist. Every morning, he walks into his office with ideas that could transform his organization. And every evening, he walks out with those same ideas locked inside. They really didn't get shared, and no one really asked about them. The hallways echo with, "That's not how we do things here," until those words become the voice in his own head. His brilliance becomes a burden. It's in the way. There's no space for it. Then there's the peacekeeper. She sees problems with perfect clarity. She knows exactly what needs to be said, but she's learned the truth that truth creates waves, and waves disrupt harmony. So she softens her insights until they lose their power. She stands in meetings watching her watered down ideas fail, knowing exactly why, because she said nothing. And the irony, the peace she preserves is merely that of quiet, untapped potential that she knows she has. The background supporter. His superpower is making others shine while remaining invisible to himself. In meetings, his ideas emerge from someone else's mouth and receive praise that he'll never claim. He's mastered the art of making his boss look brilliant while his own light dims. Year after year, his career stalls, not because he lacks talent, but because his talent has no name, no face, no voice. He's not showing up to be that voice for himself. And the untapped expert. Her mind holds solutions to problems plaguing her organization, yet her role uses fractions of what she knows. She sits in meetings watching colleagues struggle through challenges that she could solve at a moment's notice if they just asked, or she felt okay to bring it up. And while protocol and hierarchy just continually keep her insights sealed away, and she's feeling more defeated every day and feels that she doesn't enjoy her role in her job because she's not being tapped to the level that she knows she can bring to the table. I recognize these people because I was all of them at some point. All of them at different moments in my 25-year agency career. Sometimes holding back because that's how you get promoted. That's what I convince myself. Sometimes staying quiet to keep the peace. Sometimes making others look good at my expense because that seemed like the right thing to do. And sometimes watching problems persist that I knew how to solve because I felt there wasn't room to bring up the solution. And this constant self-suppression doesn't just affect our career trajectory, it creates a soul-sucking level of exhaustion, a constant drain that follows you home, that makes you collapse at the end of each day with just enough energy to numb yourself with whatever helps you, to forget what you're worried about and what you're not saying and what you're not doing and what you're not becoming. This isn't just professional frustration, it's a profound diminishing of what it means to be alive. My awakening, though, wasn't dramatic. No movie moment where I stood on a desk and declared my independence or burned the office down or created hysteria. No, it was quieter. And I was in another meeting, I remember, solving the same problems in the same way that we had for years. Proposing safe solutions that would keep everybody happy, the expected approach. But we wanted to try to solve things and be innovative, but it just wasn't happening. Because that's not what we wanted. We wanted to stay in the safe solution we always were in. And I felt this hollow space open inside me. This moment of recognition that I was caught in one of those loops that I talk about in these videos. An endless cycle of solving the same problems with the same thinking and getting the same results. That's the definition of insanity. And in one moment, I asked myself a question that changed everything. What if my different perspective isn't something to minimize? What if it's actually my greatest asset? And what if it's calling me to build a world around that where I can fully share it with no limitations? So I began what I call now my authentic expression pathway. First came recognition of the situation, acknowledging that the very aspects of my thinking and the ideas that I had that I'd been trained to put through the filters of kind of the corporate structure, that this approach and this challenging the status quo was actually not a flaw or something that needed to be diminished. In fact, it was my greatest asset. And it was what ultimately would drive the work that I do now in this community, Be Something Awesome, and in my own boutique branding agency. It's challenging the status quo that people want from me and want me to help them do in their own lives and their own business. It's way better being out and about and in the world than being filtered in a structure that wasn't working for me anymore. This recognition of this reality didn't just happen in my head. I felt it physically, viscerally, in that meeting where I said, things have to change. I finally recognized what I'd known deep down in my subconscious, that I was meant to speak differently and push the status quo because I saw things differently. That's my human design. That's who I am. That's how I show up in the world. And that led to the next step, permission. Not getting permission from anyone else like I was waiting around for in that corporate structure, giving permission to myself. I gave myself permission to show up in corporate career environments in a way that I'd never done before, as myself, not as the agency that I was at, or not representing any of the past experiences I had, but talking about my new ideas, my current dreams. I dropped myself in networking environments with entrepreneurs that were doing the same thing, and I realized something very fascinating. They embraced my authentic voice. They didn't create limits to the ideas. They built upon them. And together we turned them in conversation into new and inspiring things. It was the opposite of feeling stifled and feeling filtered. It was actually feeling empowered and emboldened and in a sense of community, which is something I'd never felt before. People just weren't tolerating my authentic ideas and my voice, my unfiltered voice. They were drawn to it magnetically. There was like this energy shift in the room. I could feel it. People were saying, "You're awesome. This is great. When are you going to create this? I want to be part of it." And then clients would start to lean in and they were reacting to what I was putting down. And they knew that there was something bigger that they could be because I was sharing this authenticity from inside. And it wasn't that this wasn't showing up in the confines of that filtered environment that I was in. It was just in bursts and in moments when the stars would align and it could come through. But it was shrouded in this filtering that happened way too often and way too much. And when I realized that I needed to just open the floodgates and be all in, that's actually what took me out of the corporate job and pushed me to start my own business full-time, my own agency, and to start Be Something Awesome, the community that you're watching this video in now. It was because of that reason when I realized those small windows of alignment weren't enough. I wanted full authenticity and the full ability to share my full message with the world, because I knew that that's where the magnetism was going to be the strongest. But what started to surprise me most wasn't the professional transformation. I mean, that was great, but it was everything else that was happening kind of inside. That constant energy drain that was holding me back, it started to disappear. I started waking up with genuine excitement instead of that low-grade dread that had become so familiar that I'd stopped noticing. That feeling of, am I going to have to fight for this idea or lobby this idea, or will it go through, or will this actually happen? Will this materialize, or will this be something else that just falls away or gets genericized or turned into something that's safe? I knew that everything that I was thinking about that day, being on my own and running my own business and controlling my own destiny, well, everything that I created had the potential to be its full authentic self. That was my choice. And that was the first time I felt that way. And it was so invigorating. And it's a feeling that I tell everyone about, especially people that are feeling stifled by either their job or some environment that they've put themselves in either in a career or in their personal lives that are holding them back. And I wanted to share this story with you because I know that there's a better way. And I know that when your voice is able to be shared in this broad and big way, where the lid is completely off, magical things happen. Because you're on this video for a reason, because I believe you have authentic ideas you want to share with the world. And there's some frustration that's holding you back. And my goal with this video and with the videos I create on this channel and the Be Something Awesome community is to give you support, saying there is a way to do that. And there's a way to create that voice, craft that voice, and then channel it out in the world through a business or through a dream or through a hobby that you want to create or through a social media platform like what we're on now. The sky is the limit. But first, giving yourself that permission to unleash that voice and restructuring the life that you live in such that those filters are gone. Well, that's really the first step. That feeling being stifled inside of you and that pressure building up isn't just telling you to adapt more. That needs to end. It's telling you that you have more to contribute than your current environment is allowing you to. The world doesn't need another voice saying what they think they're supposed to say to keep the peace. We're drowning in that. What we're starving for is your authentic perspective. Here's the truth about your ideas. They're not just valuable to you. They're valuable precisely because they came through you, through your unique combination of your experiences, your insights, and your ways of seeing the world that no one else possesses. No one else does things in exactly the same way as you. So this video isn't designed to give you a bunch of action steps. I don't have my chalkboard out with a step-by-step plan. This video was designed to be inspirational, to tell you a bit about my story, because I believe that your authentic voice matters now more than ever. Whether you want to get that out in a small way right now to test the waters, or you really have eyes on something big, like starting your own YouTube channel or starting a business around the unique idea of what you want to bring to the world. All those things matter. And I think right now we are ready for it. People are craving authenticity, craving honesty, and craving you're something awesome, a belief in something bigger than themselves. So that's what I wanted to share with you in this video. One small step that you can take now to get yourself out there and to get this authentic thing out to the world is to jump in the comments. And right there publicly so that I can see it and everyone else can, let me know what you're most passionate about to bring to the world. What do you want to share? What do you think is your unique perspective that no one else can bring to the world? Let me know in the comments so I can celebrate with you, and also so the other viewers can see it too and celebrate with you as well. That first step is going to go a long way in you showing up and bringing that authentic voice out in a way that only you can. And also, if you're interested in talking more about these things and getting involved inside of the Be Something Awesome community, there are ways to do that. So jump in the description. There's an application there of how to work together. And there's other resources that are relevant at the current time of this video of ways you can get plugged into the community. Because I would love to see you in a two-way conversation where we can talk more about these topics as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. Your voice matters. It does not need to be filtered. And let's talk about getting it out to the world like it was meant to be. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the community, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.